And here we are. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another wonderful edition of Open Shutter Live here on YouTube. And tonight I'm joined with Paul and Meek Photos, and X is having just a little bit of trouble. And so hopefully he'll be joining us shortly. But thank you for joining us. So tonight I thought we would do just like keep it open, keep it simple. I want you guys to like write in your comments, your questions, your bitches, your gripes, your what's coming new, ask us what we're up to, whatever you want. And so it looks like Evans has just joined us.
Hey.
Hello.
Paul?
Yeah?
It's all you, bud.
Oh, sorry. Were you throwing at me? I was lost. My first time doing this. Thanks everyone for jumping on. If you guys don't know who I am, my name is Paul. Run a photography meetup group called Get Out Shoot. And special week because this week is my birthday. And if you guys haven't checked out my latest video, I'm doing a fundraiser for the Chum Christmas Wish, which gives presents to needy children across Toronto. So if you want to celebrate my birthday, I can put the link. I don't seem to have like the public comments somehow, because I want to put the link for the donation. Weird. I put it in the private chat, and then you can add it.
Yeah.
So
Happy
there it is.
Hey, Paul.
Yeah, thanks. So if you guys want to celebrate my birthday, go to this link, donate whatever, $10, whatever, and my goal is to hopefully raise $1,000. So I won't say if we're close or not, but yeah, I just want to throw that in there.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yes.
Ishmael Raham, hello, Kimberly, Brian, hello, everybody. Evans has left the building.
All right,
All right, Shalom, you want to say hello?
All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's show. Today is it's gonna be we're gonna wing it today.
We've never done that before.
No, we've
never done that before. It's our first time.
Yeah. So my name is Selim. Business name is Meek Photos. I am a wedding and portrait photographer, and I live in Texas. So if you are around Texas and want to get together, just shoot me an email or not. And yeah, I'm excited for today's show.
Let's do it.
Thanks for joining us. Evans?
Can you hear us?
Nope.
That's so fun. The funny thing is that Evans did how to master audio in your live stream, and we can't hear him.
But he looked
He'll be back, and it'll be fixed, and he's gonna sound much better than all of us.
It was kind of nice how he faded out, though.
It's a nice fade.
Oh, yeah, he has the
nice fade out. Oh, there it is.
I
saw fade in.
My audio is always the best, you know.
Yeah, always. When it's on.
It may not work the first time, but
unmute your mic.
Can you guys hear me properly now? Am I still too loud?
No.
Yeah, you're okay now.
Can you do that whole YouTube thing that you did on Sunday? Like when you walked through the audio cleanup?
Walk through the audio cleanup? Yeah. I will. All right, so those of you who are new to the channel, my name is Evans. I'm based in Brampton, Ontario. Photo, video, wedding stuff, portraits, a little bit of landscape, and a mix of everything that I find interesting. So welcome to Open Shutter. Today it's free for all. Ask us anything you want, and we'll try to answer. So let's have some fun.
Make sure you like this video and subscribe to Brian because he's trying to reach 1,000 for New Year's.
Yeah.
Are you there yet?
Oh yeah, and it's my birthday this week too. So make
it's your birthday. Oh yeah, it's the same birthday week, right?
I'm posting.
Wait, it's your birthday
double,
this week,
right?
So you gotta donate for everyone.
My birthday is Sunday.
Oh wow!
You gotta donate.
Here's a good one. My birthday is the 31st of this month. Okay.
Oh, New Year's Eve.
All I'm asking for is 1,000 subscribers by the 31st. It's not that hard, guys. Come on.
Yeah.
Well, I
was hoping. Evans? Are you the 6th? Are you the 6th?
Yeah, I'm the 6th.
Yeah, I remember now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you guys gotta donate for Evans then too, I guess, or something.
I'm the 6th. My son is the 7th.
Oh man, Sagittarius is the best though. Sagittarius is the best. You can't beat Sagittarius.
So your son eats the leftover of your cake, or how do you guys know?
I wish we still have to get individual cakes, you know.
Because when I was a kid, they always saved some leftovers from Christmas, right? And then when it was my birthday, they're like, "Happy birthday!"
That's terrible.
Yeah, I always struggle with that because my wife is December 28th.
Yeah.
And she expects a Christmas gift and a birthday gift. How is that possible? It's just 3 days apart. You know?
Well,
Can't you
start
just,
saving. You have all year to save, dude.
change your birthday? My daughter and I have the same birthday in July, so
Oh,
since she's been born, it hasn't been my
Nice.
birthday anymore. That's been forgotten.
Yeah.
But she remembers. It's cute. I enjoy that. I enjoy her and Cindy.
Yeah.
So,
Cool.
well, to get us started, I
Fire.
don't see any questions in the chat, but I got some questions on my Instagram here, and well, one of them is going to be tough. But first question is, what camera do you recommend for a beginner? And I know we all get that question a lot.
Oh man, beginner? The one that you have on, the one that's on you.
Yeah, that's such a subjective question because, like, you know, you could get a mirror, you could get a Sony, you could get a Fuji, you could get a Nikon, you could get a Canon. It really depends on what you want. It's difficult to say, you know, I'm a beginner, so what's a good beginner camera? What does that mean? I don't know. What kind of quality are you looking for? I mean, can you shoot with a DSLR? Do you need a mirrorless? Can someone gift you a camera? Shoot with
Yeah.
your phone.
Shoot with your phone, honestly.
Like Paul said, whatever is on you.
Whatever's on you.
you
Yeah.
have it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I can make recommendations. I was stopped in the street today, as a matter of fact, and the guy said, he goes, I forgot what he said, something like, hey, what kind of cameras are, or what kind of, and I stopped, and it's funny because I put my hand up, I was like, you gonna steal from me? Like, no, I'm just kidding, but I was, you know, he goes, well, I'm looking to get into videography, and I don't know what camera to buy. And I was like, well, I recommend the Sony A7S III.
Yeah.
That's a few grand. So it's like he's like, well, I don't have that much money. I'm like, well, then you see, this question is like, it's more detailed than, there's more information needed. So the individual that
I think
that I need more.
I think people equate camera gear with quality, which is
Right.
true, but you also need to understand what you're using, and that goes for like the most basic crop sensor camera.
I think a better question would be, okay, my budget is $1,000 or my budget is $500. What would you recommend? You understand? Because if you just say, what would you recommend? I can recommend anything.
Yeah.
So that'll be more direct. Yeah.
I would
true.
ask
My thing is that, my thing is that if you're a beginner or you're buying your first camera, let's just say you're buying your first camera, I would always say find a local store, walk in, play around with it, right? I mean, do your research, figure out the one you want, but before you actually make that commitment, go feel it in your hands, play around with it first. But at this age, the first thing I always tell people that it doesn't matter what you choose, what brand, they're all almost good. Well, except for mixed
Don't even
people,
go
right?
there.
Stay away
Don't
from them.
even go there.
But
Here we go.
I'm just joking.
Already started.
I just like to make fun of mixed people, but everything is good, right? Right now, there's no camera on the market that you will say you cannot achieve excellent images with. My only recommendation is that if you're going to invest in a camera at this point, you're better off going the mirrorless route. Don't allow anybody to lie to you to go into a DSLR line at this time.
Brian has a good comment. You have to like the feel of it in your hand.
Right. So Evans, what you just said right now, I actually told somebody the exact opposite, and I don't believe I was lying to them per se. So they were pretty tight on their budget, right? And they want to start photography and they want to mess around with stuff. I told them, look, so many photographers have made it big without mirrorless cameras. You do not need a mirrorless camera.
Oh,
But
right.
this is what's going to happen in the coming years. DSLRs are going to be dirt cheap. They are not. It's like everybody is going to be moving to mirrorless, and they're going to be selling their used DSLRs. So if you are very tight on a budget, to be honest, if you want to learn and understand photography very well from the how do you call it, from the grassroots, right? Is good to start with the DSLR. You will be able to
Well,
understand.
that's a valid point.
Mhm.
That's a valid point. But at the same time, I think that if I'm going to spend thousands of dollars collecting gear, especially lenses, right? Lenses are the most important piece. For me, a camera body doesn't mean anything, right? I can take a T5 or T3 and I'll shoot a good image. But my concern is if I'm going to spend thousands of dollars investing in lenses, I must as well invest in lenses that I know. And lenses are things that don't. It's the component that you never change, right? If you take care of your lenses, it can last you 20 years,
Mhm.
right? But at the same time, I'm just looking at it in this way. These days, everything is moving towards video line, right? And the mirrorless cameras affords you the best of both worlds, photos and video, right? As opposed to some of the DSLRs will give you some video stuff, but the assist features in video and stuff, if you want to start learning video, it's gonna be more difficult on a DSLR than if you are on a mirrorless camera. You have more options.
The
But then at the
technology-
same time, if I'm going to be start investing in lenses, I want to invest in mirrorless lenses right now at this point, not in.
Yeah,
Even though DSLR lenses can be
listen,
really cheap.
I understand what you are saying, right? But this is somebody who wants to do photography, and their budget for everything is less than $1,000. Okay, like
Well, what do
they
you
can't.
think about? Because in the comments they said maybe a Nikon D3400. I don't know Nikon, so what do you? Is
Well,
something good?
Yeah, if
That's less than $1,000, man.
yeah, if you want to get a DSLR to start at this point, I wouldn't recommend a 3400. I would recommend a used D750. D750 is full frame and actually is very clean at low light. Like I have used it to shoot over 20 weddings, so I know this camera body in and out.
So what do you
And
think one of those costs, like in US dollars? A used
okay, in
one?
US dollars, a used D750 right now, you can get one for maybe $650. Yeah, and I mean, there are so many wedding photographers who have used that for several years, and it's still a very good camera. So, yeah.
Now the Canon T6 series, I all I know from Canon is my wife had a 5D Mark II and a Mark III, and then I think I shot the 50D, the 60D. So for me now, since then, I don't even know what Canon offers anymore. So I don't even. Is the T6 also a DSLR, or is that mirrorless? No,
Oh, sorry. T6 is a DSLR.
it is a DSLR.
Yes,
Okay.
I have one in my photo
Mhm.
booth. I'm not really a Canon person, but it's just in my photo booth, and so I know a little bit about it.
Well, I think all of us.
Yeah, I started off on a T5, right? Then I moved on to what was it, the 7D Mark II. But like I said, I've shot the Canon DSLRs, and I actually even shot weddings with a T5. There's nothing preventing you from doing that. If you know what you're doing, you can get decent images with that. But personally, if I have $1,000 to spend, I would probably end up picking up something like a used A6000 or even an A6500. You can get some of that for around that $500, $600 price line to get you started.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Ishmat says he disagrees with me and that the 3400 is easy to use. Well, if you are going to be charging for photography and you are going, you want to get a good product, you have to learn how to use your camera. So if it's just the ease of use, you're not buying this for point and shoot. You're not just shooting your kids. You want to learn and upgrade. So if that's the only reason, then the 3400 is pretty bad at low light. I have used it. My second shooter has used it, and the grain was so much, at receptions. So that's the only limitation. Unless you are very good with flash and you light up your receptions very well, That is if you're allowed to. So
Yeah, and that's yeah, like you said, it depends on what you're shooting it for. But you're right. In some weddings, you can't use lights, you can't use strobes, so you're going to have to rely on that low light. And so a camera like that might not do so well. But I guess it depends on what you're shooting. Though I think probably, I hate to speak for all four of us, but I think the four of us might agree that the lenses are the most important thing. I mean, I would rather shoot a quality lens on a terrible body versus
on a crop body.
Versus an amazing camera with a $20 lens on it, you know. So I would say, you know, if you already have a camera system, then maybe just invest in glass and just be careful. Make sure what you're investing in is going to be, you know, compatible with what's coming next or what you are going to upgrade to at some point. So to lead us into, I know people are, feel free to just keep commenting because I see the chat's like lighting up, but someone asked, at what point did you guys feel comfortable enough to start charging for shoots? I could take that, but we could all chime in.
Go ahead, Brian.
Well, for me, I shot for free for a while, and I think the light, you know, the light bulb went off when someone asked me, well, how much do you charge? You know, and then you get to that point like, well, what am I worth? What am I? And that's something I still struggle with because, you know, I'd like to say I'm worth $1,000 an hour, but realistically, I don't think that's possible. However, I've seen photographers that charge that much, and I'm just like, how are they? They're not charging. How are they getting that much money? But the thing is, when you feel comfortable enough, I think you have to. It depends on what you're shooting, but for example, if you're shooting dogs, okay. And word of mouth is getting around, and you have more people with dogs reaching out to you. Hey, I saw the shots you did for so and so and so and so. There's nothing that says you can't charge. Does it make you a professional photographer? That's arguable. Some people say if you charge for photography, you're a professional. It doesn't really matter what you label it. It's I think it's a personal decision, but I think that's for you to decide, and not somebody else. Because everyone's gonna have a different opinion about your work and your style of work and your level of competency, you know. But I'm told both. Sometimes I'm told I charge too much. Other times I'm told, wow, you're not charging enough.
Yeah.
So I think it comes first of all with practice as well. When you know your camera inside and out, and talking about, Brian said something about, you know, the feel of your camera. Like I know all my settings without ever looking at my camera. So you need to get to a point where you know that. You need to get to a point where you learn posing. And have a goal in mind, have a vision in mind of what you want your photos to look like. And if you can recreate that for somebody, then by all means, charge them.
100%.
So,
for me, go ahead, Mix.
Right, okay. So, I mean, Kobe is asking an advanced question over here. I really don't think our audience are international photographers right now. He's asking, how do you price on international assignments? So
pay for airfare, hotel airfare, spending money.
I was invited once to go to like Sweden or something, and I'm not really. That's more when I was shooting a little bit more nature and landscapes and stuff. But I didn't 100% feel in my gut that it was legit. But they were supposed to cover the airfare and stuff in exchange for. I don't know. Although it seemed exciting, something inside didn't feel right. So
you didn't go?
No.
Sweden, man. Come on.
Yeah, I've shot a couple of weddings in the States, in the US. And for me, when it comes to those stuff, I will charge my normal rate that I charge here plus 20%. The 20% is for all the extra stuff that I gotta carry, you know, from here to the States and stuff. But on top of that, the client is responsible for my airfare, accommodation, food, and transportation while I'm down there.
Yeah, absolutely.
While we're at it, Kobe, have you posted your YouTube videos yet? Next, you will not be allowed to ask any questions unless you post a couple of videos, maybe 5 videos. Oh, man.
Yeah, post one.
So I think going back to that question about when do you start charging, for me, it was a pretty simple thing. Like I said, it all depends on how you start and how you get into the industry, right? When I first started, I would say I started charging within my first 1 year. And the reason why that happened was for me, I picked up a camera, started shooting around at home, shooting stuff. Then maybe I think 4 or 5 months into that, I realized I wanted to do that. So I reached out to someone who was a wedding photographer and I wanted to work with them. And he looked at my stuff, says, okay, come, let's work together. So I worked with him for free for maybe another 1 or 2 months, doing weddings and stuff. Then he realized that I'm good enough, he started paying me. But within that period of time, every time I had a chance, I will practice, right? I will learn to light, I will learn aperture, shutter speed, my exposure triangle, and play around with a lot of stuff. So because I was that fortunate to have a mentor who kind of made the transition and the learning process a little more easier for me, I was able to start charging early, right? Because he started paying me to go do weddings on my own after a while. And since then, if someone contacts me outside of him, I will charge them because I now know what to do. So it all depends. It's always good to have someone to who is already doing what you want to do, and see if they will work with you for a while for you to get that experience. Because especially if you want to go do a wedding, don't just get up one day and say I'm going to shoot a wedding. You go end up and mess up somebody's day. Work with somebody as a second shooter or as a just learning for a while so you can know and understand what are the important shots, what are the important moments of the day, that kind of stuff before you go and charge somebody to go shoot their wedding.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's important too. Like to realize that there is some pressure there, especially on a wedding. Even sometimes a maternity shoot, because some ladies will schedule their maternity shoot like month 9, and you mess that up,
Game over.
you don't have your focus right, or sometimes I didn't notice I was shooting on ISO 2000.
Ooh.
You know what I mean? And then
Ouch.
hey, can I get a? Yeah, I don't know. Not that I mean ISO 2000, depending on your camera, is probably fine, but yeah, you can mess those up, and then she goes into labor. Who knows, man? So definitely got to get to know your equipment and know what you're doing. I think having a mentor or an apprentice is fantastic, and I certainly appreciate, Paul, you have the meetup groups and Evan
Join a meetup group. Shameless plug.
lighting workshops and things like that. It's awesome. Let me see. Another question that I got was, how long did it take you to develop your style, or what?
Oh man.
What would you call your style, and how do you know when you finally found it?
It's like love.
Never. For me, it's see, that's the question that people ask all the time, and I always say there's nothing like developing your style. You are consistently working and developing your style.
Yeah.
Right. You may have lean towards a certain kind of color grading aspect, but that's always evolving. For me, it's always evolving because I may always go like Mr. Brian James. You may always go that dark, moody route, but
Orange Crush.
you're still learning, right, as you go. So it's not a done deal. It's not like I found my style and I'm done. Yeah, it's always a learning curve. There's always something that you are learning to do, playing around with different kind of tonings and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, in the long run, sticking with something, if you can stomach it, you are more likely to do better because people know what to get. They know what they're going to get all the time. It's not like, what color grade is he going to go with for this shoot? They know this.
Oh no, I'm not talking about that, but the style will always be there, right? So you will always have that fundamental look that is attributed to you, right? But in terms of when we say somebody, oh, I have developed my style, there's nothing like I have gotten to the end of developing my style. You will always have that attribute that says this is Brian James's image because there is that particular thing about that image, right? But your style will always keep evolving around maybe that one focal point that you have in there.
Right. Yeah, I'm not fully disagreeing with you. I'm just letting people know that, hey, if you, for example, on Instagram, it's just people who stick to doing one thing and doing it well do better than people who do a little bit of everything, because people don't know what to expect. You understand? So let's say if you post a picture of let's say food a day, maybe half an egg a day or something. It could be very ridiculous, but the fact that it's the same thing that you keep doing, people know what they get, and people just follow you for that. It's weird, but that's just how it works. Yeah.
I had a photographer. She does street photography, but she also photographs flowers, and she's always in my DMs, and I don't talk to her a lot. Hopefully, she's not watching.
Surprise! Guess who's coming on?
Problem all the time. Which is why I started a Patreon, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
Like, one of the things she mentioned is she goes, okay, so when I post street photography, all the street photographers come and they like it and they comment, but then when I post flowers, nobody says anything about it. And I said, because the people that are following you are not reaching you, are not
They're not there for that. They're not there for that.
Look at flowers. Although flowers may be beautiful, for example, I mean, I had a hard time trying to like incorporate portraits because I didn't want to start a separate page, but I still have that moody style it comes through in my portraits and in my street photography and my urban photography. So I keep the grid the same. But yeah, if you have black and white street, and then boom, there's a yellow flower, and then black and white street, and then your eggs for breakfast. Unless your followers are your best friends, they're gonna say, "Well, what am I like?"
Exactly.
I never know what I'm gonna hear.
So one thing I think we're confusing style with your general photography. So there's two things. There's your style and then there's a general, right? I get it. If I'm shooting street photography, I'm shooting street photography. I'm shooting portraits, right? But within that portraits or that street photography that I'm shooting, you can have your own unique style that will fall down maybe to your method of framing, your color grading method and stuff like that, right? And that's what I'm talking about, that will always rotate around something. You may have that base color scheme that you go for, but there will always be some differences there.
And if you guys watch, like on YouTube, they have those photographer challenges where 3 photographers, 4 photographers shoot the same model. If you take color grading out of it, because they often color grade very differently, you can see how people's styles are different and they're consistent, and they grow as they, you know what I mean? But like you'll hear photographers with 800,000 followers, and they'll say, I tend to shoot low. I shoot below the model's eyes and I shoot up. That's just my thing. That's my style. I like to make them look taller. Whereas other people like to shoot down. And like girls take the selfies from up, right? So their head is more beautiful that way. I don't really know. I can't figure out selfies. But yeah, I mean, the color grading. You're right. The color grading doesn't necessarily matter. It's the style. But what's really cool is when someone sees your photo and then says, "I knew that was your photo before I even looked at the name." That's cool. And I feel like that. I feel like you guys are even at that point where I see your photo, and before because sometimes it's big, I scroll back. I was like, yeah, I thought that was his. Or I could see him shooting that. But that's good because I know what to expect from you. And it can be disappointing because sometimes you want to share other things. But not to get off that topic, but back to like Instagram and things like that. My advice to if you're watching or anybody else, if you want to share flowers, do it on a separate page.
Yeah.
I want to do I love black and white street. It's not that popular, but I love it, and so I'm just going to create a second feed. I know that's more work for me, but it just it's just something else to add to the mix. I'm sorry, there's a lot of people like typing in here. Moody Vibe, thank you. How do you reach out to models for those that want to build their portfolio?
Good one.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna take this. So, just work hard on your craft. Okay, first of all, start using people use family, use friends, and then when your work starts looking good, it's very easy. You find people in your area and be like, hey, I'm a photographer in this area. I believe we can create some magic together. Like, say something and let them know that you are ready to collab with them. And, and when you do that, this is what's going to happen. After you send that message, they are going to go on your Instagram to check you out. So you have to have enough work there to convince them that you are going to do a pretty good job, and if this is not your friend or someone, they need to see that. So once they see that and they're happy with that, it's going to be easy. And then guess what? with time, they will start reaching out to you, and you would have so many to choose from. Yeah.
And you got to beat them off with a stick.
Exactly.
No. I don't do it for the free.
Yep. so
Um,
so I agree with Meeks. Build that portfolio, but at the same time, even when you don't have a portfolio yet, or you don't have any sort of really good images on your portfolio, well, it's always important to work on that craft, because you don't want to go and stand in front of the model and now you're trying to figure out what an ISO or what a shutter speed is, right? But at the same time, you could reach out to other models. Look at stuff like Facebook groups, right? Look for models who are also getting started. If you're getting started, look for models who are getting started. So they are also at the same level as you, and they will jump to the opportunity to shoot, right? So look for those ones. But when you start to reach out to advanced models and they look at your portfolio and your Instagram has nothing there to offer them, they're not going to even respond to you. So if you're first starting out, probably look at models who are also starting out.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so don't go after the model that has 80,000 followers, because she probably doesn't need your services. But yeah, absolutely. And I would say, like, when I first started shooting models and then tried to get into portraiture, I didn't have any of that. I didn't have any of those photos posted. So then they would message me back and say, well, do you shoot portraits? Because I don't see anything on your page that indicates that you. So then I have to say, okay, here's some photos I shot. So yeah, you have to have a portfolio. And if you're, like Evan said, if you're just starting, but what guys, what about shooting with friends or a girlfriend or whatever, just to practice your lighting and practice your, there's nothing wrong with that too, I think.
Mannequins even.
Mannequins.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Those are my favorites.
Yeah. They don't talk back at
They
you.
don't talk back.
They
Yeah.
don't talk back. They don't ever say I'm tired.
They don't move,
They move. It's a
Don't
good
have
one.
to be in business to be called a professional photographer. This could be controversial.
I like controversy.
Well, I've heard people say if you shoot with a screen on your camera and you don't look through the EVF, you're not professional.
That's funny.
Okay, how about this? I'm just making this up, so take it if you will. If you earn enough money in a year to cover the gear that you bought,
Yeah,
you might be professional.
maybe.
But if you only have like a camera and one lens, and yeah, I don't know, because some people say, well, if you charge money, you're a professional.
Well, anyone can charge money.
Yeah, I mean, I could find anyone on the street to pay me $5 and take their photo. Does that make me professional? Yeah. No, not necessarily. So it depends. I mean, but that being said, I've seen people that have thriving businesses.
Yeah.
That, in my opinion, are not very good.
Yeah.
They are called pro, and they make more money than me at it. And so,
because people don't know, right? People don't know quality when they see it.
Well, let me ask you this: if you go to Walmart and you pay $13.99 for a portrait session with the photographer at Walmart, is that a professional photographer? I mean, they charge you money. They have a studio set up.
Money.
That is a professional right there.
Yep. Those are the ones that are considered professional, Yeah. For some reason, I don't get it.
We should get a Walmart photographer on this show one week. I think it'd be a great story. We need to recruit a Walmart photographer.
So quick shout out to
I think the term is I think the term professional is pretty loose. What I think is way back in the day, you probably need to have a form of certification or whatnot to even be able to get some gigs, especially with institutions and stuff. They would want to see your photography school certificates, your credentials, right? But today, it's not the same. Today, anybody can learn. You don't have to go to. So somebody was. I met up with a photographer here, and he was telling me that, look, about 10 years ago, when he wanted to learn Flash, right, there was this workshop that they did in Dallas, and they did it twice a year. and you had to pay $5,000.
Oh my god.
And, and the guy was just explaining Flash and how to use ND filters with because back then high speed sync was not really a thing. And so, but today you can learn all those things in a couple of days, just buying some courses or so.
YouTube it.
Yeah, YouTubing and all that. So it's still pretty loose. But if you have a business that you make an income from, that well, you should have it insured and all that, then I think you're a professional. You may not be the best at it, but you still are.
I want to hop on something you just said. I'm just curious. Have you guys ever purchased any courses for photography?
No, never.
I did.
I think I bought a few of the Created Live Created Live tutorials when I first started.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever finished any of them. I did watch some, but never finished them.
I started watching them. I'm like, I know almost everything in here. I just need to practice,
Yeah.
I have as well. So I was just curious, but I watched them all. So I guess I'm the odd one out here. But yeah.
What I need to get is retouching courses, which most of them are not the style that I like. So it's really hard to find something.
A lot of the retouchers. This is a pet peeve of mine.
Every time I buy a retouching video, it ends up being frequency separation.
Just too much.
Yeah, but so much of the style I'm seeing with portraits now is so overdone, and so much dodging and burning. They look like plastic people, and I don't know why people. I don't know why people are so attracted to that.
And that's what people like, right?
Yep.
That's what people are liking, and what happens is that every time we push the edge a little further, we keep pushing it further. And if you look at editing styles, about 4 or 5 years ago, the smooth skin was a thing, like pulling the clarity all the way down. But then a few years ago, it became more texture and all that. And it's just, I watched some old videos. I'm like, oh, wow, we thought this looked good back then, Yeah.
This question, I only have the 8200, so I'm not going to answer. But from Jack, I probably one of you two gentlemen will answer this better. Did you see the question? The 8600 versus the 8300 Pro for both outdoor and indoor photography?
I think you missed one question before that one.
Oh, what was that? Oh, when do you register your brand?
Yeah.
As soon as possible, because somebody can take your name and whatnot.
Yeah. Especially with a common name.
I think we should have a session on that. I think we should have a session on the business of photography. So maybe the next time I host, I gotta check with Kobe if he has time, because he's an expert in the business stuff, right? So I mean, I think a lot of people are interested in eventually making a business out of it. We should have a session on the business of side of photography, registering, the branding piece, and all that kind of stuff. It'll be an interesting session. But yeah, if you have a brand in mind, your best bet is register it right away. Right. You may not be making money out of it, but it doesn't hurt to register it right away.
So
I got my website a full year before I ever even put anything on it and started publicly, as a photographer.
Yeah. Also, you have a very common name.
Yeah, like when you told me, like, hey, you're not even
11,000 Brian James on YouTube.
Brian James singer, and Brian James anime character, and another Brian James photographer that's decently big. That's why I had to put the Mister there.
Mister. It's catchy, man.
So, Jack, your question. I think the 8300 is enough. For the most part, because I mean, I have made do with the 8200 for several shots that everyone was like, no, that's not enough power. You just have to do a lot more thinking and a lot more awareness of the light. But definitely, if you are going to be moving around a lot, and it depends on your area, where you live, how windy is it, and stuff like that. If you're going to use the 8600, make sure you have an extension head. That way, you can put it on a bar, and it's easier to work with. But with light power, there's just so much you can do with the 8300, and but still, if you have an assistant, just get the 600 and you have a peace of mind.
Yeah, I work alone, but I use the 600. The 300 will get the job done to a certain extent, like Mick said. But if you happen to have a wedding scenario in a broad day summer afternoon, the 300 won't cut it, right? So you're gonna need more power. That's where the 600 will do. But the 300, if you're doing sunset shoots, some stuff in the evening, it will be fine. But not if you ever find yourself in a situation where you have to shoot in midday sun. The 300 won't be powerful enough. But it's good enough to get any kind of shot you want, as long as the conditions are not demanding more power.
Yep.
Kobe says it took you 4 days to find my YouTube channel.
4 days.
It's because it's Brian James Photography. I couldn't get Mr. Brian James. I don't know why. Couldn't do it.
Oh, I should have sent him a link. My bad. I just kept telling him it's on Brian's channel.
Well, I mean, if you go on my Instagram, all my links are there.
Well, yeah, I shared the story too, so I was hoping someone could find it straight from there.
Yeah.
Let's see what else. Somebody mentioned something about. Kimberly said, "Oh, she's got the website. I have a lot of COVID time."
COVID time.
COVID time. Wait, so are you guys still on the lockdown?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sadly.
For January.
So I have a wedding this Friday. I'm gonna protect myself a lot, but Texas, they
How many
don't
people are
care.
attending?
Make sure you have 3 masks.
Oh, I'm gonna have the surgical one underneath, and I have one for me photos. I'm gonna wear that on top. That way I
Yeah,
can protect.
but you need 3 though. If you're wearing the surgical mask underneath, make sure you have a lot of them. Because I shot a wedding when we temporarily opened up,
Mhm.
and I shot a COVID wedding. Trust me, yeah, it depends on how the day goes, right? But fortunately, I had 3 sets of masks with me. So my custom branded masks, I had 3 of them with me.
I
So
see.
during the day, you have to change because it's
You
That's
get
funny.
so, yeah, it's gonna be probably gonna be mostly outside too. The first part mostly outside.
oh yeah, then that's fine.
Yeah.
I was indoors all day.
Get danger pay for weddings now, man.
You said?
You should get danger pay for weddings now.
I know,
Yep,
right?
yep.
I know, yeah.
One was like 50
Except
people,
when we booked
100
it,
people at a wedding, and then 45 test positive.
except
Yeah.
when we booked it, that was the time that COVID was dying down, everything was opening back up, and nobody knew how the situation would be right now.
No,
So
yeah.
it's just another risk.
It's like Ben, you got screwed too in the name department, huh?
For what? Instagram?
For everywhere else, he said. How did you guys start in photography, and what theme did you guys shoot? The basic story for me is it's kind of personal. I'm gonna write a blog about it, but that's on my Patreon page. So unless you don't subscribe, you're not gonna see it. But I started.
Oh, wait, Brian, you have a Patreon.
Yeah, no, I just found this out too.
Nice.
I started it a couple days ago, and I got a few members already, a few different tiers, but basically, like I'm doing weekly behind the scenes on my shoots out in public, how I do everything. I'm recording everything mostly from my cell phone and my GoPro, and I'm pumping them out because I'm finding more value in that than I am making YouTube videos. I mean, I don't earn anything on YouTube, and then also we have the live chat, question and answer sessions and things like that. And so that way I can connect with people because I get so many questions, and I look at, my phone tells me my screen time, and when my screen time was like 6 hours, and all I'm doing is answering other people's questions, I'd rather focus on people that maybe aren't shooting that question out to them.
So why didn't you just let us know? Why are we not good enough to be on your Patreon?
We're not
I
gonna
know. You guys want us to get all the juicy secrets, huh?
I put it in my stories, and if you guys didn't see it, I want to tell you.
I didn't see it.
But I started shooting. For me, it was like honestly sunsets because I thought that's where you start, the most beautiful thing. And man, they were popular too. And I have nothing against sunsets. I think kind of morphed into a more like urban, gritty street photographer, very moody. I don't really shoot sunset. That's where I started. What about you guys?
My dad gave me a tiny Canon point and shoot, like one of those power shot cameras, like I don't know, like 10 years ago or something.
They're pretty good, I think, actually.
No, not really. And
I thought it was the.
it fits. No, it's like the compact one. It fits in your pocket. Anyway, power shot 2000 or 5000 or something. That's what I had. So he gave it to me because I was going on these trips. He said, "Oh, you should take some photos." I'm like, "Why?" He goes, "Oh, just take some photos." And I didn't know what I was doing. And then eventually people started like, "Oh, these photos are pretty good." I'm like, "Really?" They're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Okay, sure." And then I joined like another meetup group before Get Out Shoot. They still run Toronto Photo Walks. I think they still run. That was back in like 2013 or something, but it never really stuck. Like I hung out and I'm like, this is cool, but I kind of like just stopped going. And then when I found Get Out Shoot in 2017, that's where it all just kind of like snowballed into this madness. It's a nutshell story.
Solom, how did you start? I don't remember how you started.
Oh, there are two stories. So, for one, I bought a camera. I bought a Nikon D5200 on my wedding. So what happened was, when we were looking for a photographer and videographer for my wedding, I realized that the cheapest I could find in New York was $4,000. And up until then, I was thinking that, you know, I'm not like that shouldn't cost us any more than $300 or $500. I'm not even gonna kid you guys. So when I realized that to get photos and videos, this was how much it was, I'm like, this is ridiculous. But then I realized that I could get a good DSLR for right around $1,000. So what I did was, we still got the professional guys to take the pictures, but I still got a DSLR for one of my cousins to just take pictures along the way. And so, you know, right after the wedding, I'm like, I gotta learn this thing. And a few months later, I enlisted in the army. And well, funny enough, to one of my roommates was a combat photographer. And he had a lot of Nikon gear. The army has Nikon. NASA, space, they use Nikon. So I had all these lenses and stuff laying around, and you know, I would be playing with them. He was not interested in them. So, you know, after this thing, he'll be playing video games and I'll be messing around with the lenses and stuff. So that's pretty much how I learned it. Yeah. So when I came back, I just started taking pictures in the church, and everyone is like, "Oh, how did you learn it?" I'm like, "Well, yeah.
Exactly. Organically, right?
Yeah.
Very organic.
For me, it was more like most people you guys always know. I started because of my twins, right? When they were born really early. They were born 28 weeks, and even before they came out, the doctors were like, "Oh, at 28 weeks, we don't think they will make it. We don't think they will survive." Right? So they came out. They were put in the NICU. And I said, okay. So that same day, I went out and I bought a T5 because my whole plan was just document every single day they had, right? So even if they spend 3 days and they're gone, I want to get as much photos as I can. But before then, I had always been interested in photography. I had an old film camera that I used to shoot, but at some point I just gave it up and I never bothered with it. But when they were born and I picked up photography again, I just started shooting and it became a thing. So, you know, I was expecting a couple of days. They were still here. So I started doing a photo shoot with them every week. Whilst they were in the hospital, they came home. I started doing a photo shoot of them every month. So every month as they grow, because I wanted to just document whatever happens, I wanted to have some memories of them. And that's how I just started shooting. And God's grace, they're still here today. So, you know, that's how I just started shooting.
And now you're a famous photographer, so it worked out. It's good.
Yeah.
I think maybe last question, unless someone else sneaks one in. Increasing your price while keeping the number of the sessions, or increasing the number of sessions while keeping your price? I know my answer for this.
My answer is simple. Work less, pay more.
Yep.
Yeah, work less, pay more.
There's not a whole lot rewarding about shooting 20 people in a week for $50 and then editing all those photos. And you're like, damn, when there would have been one client out there willing to pay you 500 in the first place.
Yeah.
To do half the work, and it's hard to determine your value. I still struggle with this, but charge exactly what you want and don't come down from that price. Know what you're worth. Don't forget your gas money and your parking and your equipment and your insurance if you have it. That's a good idea, by the way. I just learned. And then the hours you spend editing. People. And it's okay to explain that to people. Some people don't. Well, I just go to work, and that's fine. But people don't realize, like, okay, I had to get ready. It took me a half hour to drive here. I'm traveling with $8,000 worth of equipment per se, and then we're gonna shoot for an hour, and then I'm gonna go back and edit for 3 hours, depending on what the client wants and how the shot went or how their face was looking that day. Blah blah blah. And so, just divide. If they have a problem with your price, divide it out for them, and say, what do you make at your job? You make $20 an hour? Okay, I make $30 an hour, and here's why it costs this much money, because this is how many hours I'm going to give you. Like weddings, I hear a lot of people complain, like, oh, my wedding photographer charged me $3,000. Do you know how much effort goes in? I mean, you guys can attest to that. Like, it's so much work, and that's one of the reasons I don't do weddings, because it's just so much. But
yeah. When I started shooting weddings, I used to, take anything, because I would go and I'll say my price and the people will bargain, and I'll reduce my price for them. But at the point I stop it, and my wife will like, why don't you take it? Why don't you take it? I said, nope, I'm not working for cheap. I'm not that. And the thing about me is, because I have my full-time job, I have the option to pick and choose, right? So if you come to me and I price you, at the end of the day, it's gonna have to make some sense for me. If I'm gonna leave my family, carry all this gear, come out and shoot for you, the number of hours I'm spending for that shoot plus my editing is gonna make sense, right? I'm not gonna do that. I mean, yeah, I've shot for free for families and friends sometimes, but if a client contacts me and we are working on it, at the end of the day, I have to make some money out of it. Right, I have to calculate how much time I'm going to spend, how much I think my hour time is worth an hour, and I got to make sure that at the end of the day I make something out of it. Otherwise, I'd rather stay home. It doesn't matter even if it's 1,500. If 1,500 doesn't make sense for my budget, I'm not coming. I'd rather use that time for something else.
Yeah.
And then here's, like, I'll give it like an extreme case in point, but like, I follow a photographer, and one of the courses I did, actually, I paid for during her Black Friday. I haven't started it yet. It was from Lindsay Adler, and she shoots high fashion, but she shoots families and stuff too. But it's very unique, very high fashion, and she charges $5,000 to $7,000 US per photo shoot, and I believe it's a 1.5 hour session. And I'm like, oh, that's crazy, but people are paying her. But the thing is, she could do 10 photo shoots a year, right? And make, for example, what I do, shooting 95 shoots. You know what I mean? Is she 25 times better than me? No, she's not. She might be 5 times better than me, but you see what I mean? So yeah, make it worth your time. And because your time is valuable, it's the only thing that you can't purchase on this planet. It's the only thing that money can't buy, in my opinion. And so if that means spending time with your family or sitting home on the couch watching Netflix, your time is important. So don't sell yourself short.
Yep. 100%.
Joshua, thanks for sneaking in at the end. My Air Force brethren. I hope you're doing well, buddy. Well, I think that's a good place to stop, right, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. There are no more questions?
Let me
Rapid fire?
Let me do. Am I gonna do that? No. Rapid fire questions. Rapid fire. Anybody?
Rapid fire.
I'm okay with that.
What kind of pizza does Brian like?
I like pineapples on my pizza.
Oh, I do too.
Ha.
My
Do you?
favorite swapping his pineapples and chicken.
Really?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty good. That's pretty good.
That's what I get all the time.
I really do. I actually do too. I lost a few friends because of that.
Oh, my wife used to hate it at the beginning, but now she likes it.
Nice.
All right. Well, that being said, closing remarks.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks everyone for the questions, and hopefully give you a little bit of insight. And everyone starts from zero. I think that's very important. Everyone starts from zero, so you just gotta enjoy the process, have fun with it, and just keep working at it. And eventually, you'll become a master of it. And yeah, so hopefully you guys enjoyed it. And again, if you want to celebrate my birthday, please see the link in the description and donate a couple of bucks to help some kids out. And yeah, we'll see you guys next week. Thanks so much.
All right. Thank you guys for being here. And here's a shameless plug. I am doing Vlogmas. Okay.
Oh boy, here we
A
go.
lot out of me. I'm going to post a vlog or a video or something every day till the 24th of December. So please check out my channel. And some of them are juicy. Some of them are videos I've been working on for a while. I will not release those for about a week. But yeah, please check the channel and
Make sure you
keep in
subscribe.
touch.
The guy's doing a video every day for how many days? The whole month of December?
24, man.
Oh, man.
24th, man.
We may never see you again.
That'll
You know
get
what? I'm gonna
that'll
start
get
this
you
video
proud.
right now. All right, welcome to the YouTube channel.
Put that in the intro. Put that in the intro. Yeah.
All right, thank you guys. It's been fun hanging out with you guys this Wednesday night, December 2nd. All right, it's been fun. I hope you guys were able to impact some knowledge. I hope you all be able to learn something out today. Like I always say, we are not experts by any means, but together we all learn and we all grow together, and that's the whole point of this community. So thanks for watching tonight. Don't forget to subscribe to our channels. I think next week we are on Meek's channel, so don't forget
Meeks is
next
gonna do a
week.
vlog. Meeks is gonna do a
Yeah.
vlog on the live just so he doesn't have to edit it.
You
Yeah,
know
so
what?
next
That's a
week,
good idea.
Wednesday.
I'm gonna record the whole show and post it.
You can
Yeah,
get
so see you again.
lives for videos.
I don't know. I might just have to sneak it in there.
You have to, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll see you again next Wednesday.
So for me, I just want to, again, thank everybody for coming here tonight. We just kind of winged it, but I just wanted to keep it low pressure. And so again, one more plug for me, since Paul plugged his charity. I am on Patreon now. The link is in the description, and it's also in my YouTube bio, or excuse me, my Instagram bio. You can click there. It's $4 a month to become a member, and so I have a lot of content that I've been working on for the last 2 months, so that it's already ready to put out. But I have fresh things that I'm putting out weekly, and I'm super excited about it because it gives me an opportunity to unfilter myself. If you know me, and thank you Kimmy and Nav who are here, they've already signed up. If you know me, I have a little bit of mouth, very honest, and I also like to express myself in ways that I can't necessarily do here on YouTube. But I really like to get into the feeling of photography, the mood I'm going after, and if you've seen me shoot, I run after people. I've been called a spider monkey before, but I have different ways that I shoot. I want to share that with people, and the $4 or whatever helps me keep going because I put a lot of time and a lot of effort into this, and I know you guys do as well. I mean, literally, you could spend hours editing a photo and or a video, excuse me. And the thing is, on YouTube, I'm not to 1,000 yet, but on YouTube, I expect I'll make $10 a month, which is not a lot for the hundreds of hours that you put into your craft. And so it's just a way for people to support each other. I subscribe to another street photographer named Evan Ramp. I'm not sure how to describe it, but he's fantastic. I learn a lot from him, so I think it's a good thing. And but even here on YouTube on our show, I think I've learned so much from you guys, and love getting questions from everybody and seeing where everybody's at and helping each other at all levels. So thank you guys for joining us tonight, the four of you, everybody out there, cyber realm, if you will. So thanks again for joining us. Please stay safe. Wear a mask.
Wash your hands.
Wash your In hands. Hey guys. Yep.
Monetized.
All right.
Yeah.
Good night, guys.